In the early 1630s, a group of people called the Puritans left England because they believed their country was falling apart. Unlike many Europeans who came to the New World in search for gold, they came to the New World to expand their religion and create a richer society.
For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light?
To accomplish their fulfillment, they would need a metal more beneficial than what other Europeans searched for. They needed iron. One important man would help them achieve their goals, John Winthrop, and he knew they needed a constant supply of iron more than anyone else.
If we are to build a perfect republic in the wilderness, subject to no other power than ourselves, must have a constant supply of iron. Iron will enrich our community.
At this time, the only way they could get a constant supply of iron was from England, but that wasn't going to be an option since it wasn't efficient. They decided to build an ironworks. Their first attempt was a blast furnace in Braintree. They soon found out that this location wouldn't work for what they wanted. They shut down the blast furnace in Braintree. The Puritans sent over an engineer, Richard Leader, who would help them build a better ironworks. He found a perfect spot along the banks of the Saugus River. The Saugus River provided the ironworks with many different resources. The river was used to provide energy and to bring materials in and out. There was also bog iron found near the sides of the river. There were many trees which could be used to cut down and burned into charcoal. Richard Leader finally dammed the river and brought the water to the ironworks.
Parcel of land shall be overflowed by a pond of water, sufficient to erect a new watercourse.
The ironworks would help Essex County prosper. The ironworks set foundation for the iron-making industry. Getting the ironworks up and running wasn't easy. The jobs in the ironworks were even harder. Many of the workers came from over England to work on the ironworks. Each and every one of these workers needed to have raw skill to work in the ironworks. To perform the unskilled labor, the investors had Scottish prisoners work on the ironworks against their will. They were not treated very well because they were non-Puritans. The Puritans saw them as outsiders. The process of the ironworks was very complex. First, Richard Leader sent the water to the ironworks to spin huge wheels and provide energy for the works. Next, he built a blast furnace to smelt the iron ore. Once the iron ore was melted, they would lead it down into a shallow, long hole.
And it stands boiling in them for a considerable time.
They left it there until it cooled and hardened. Using a trip hammer, they made the iron ready to transform. They then used a slitting mill to roll out rods to make nails. The colony used iron for many tasks. Some of the uses for iron was cooking or building houses. John Winthrop finally saw his vision come together. The works was producing 8 tons every week. It was generating enough iron to become more independent from England and also become more self-sufficient. But there was one problem. The men started becoming more and more out of control. Many workers drank and failed to go to church. Strict Puritan laws would clash with these problems and price would be paid. The Puritan tradition and religion was slowly fading away. There was also a problem with the ironworks. Even though the ironworks was producing great amounts of iron, it wasn't producing a good profit. Richard Leader finally left. In 1670, the Saugus Ironworks was shut down.
Every new undertaking has its difficulty. Ours has met with much. The company are much discontented, and do not use me as I have deserved.
But the Saugus Ironworks was still indirectly impacting the country. As the ironworks was shut down, the workers left and spread across the country, but their skills would remain with them, and many of the workers would start their own ironworks and contribute in making one of the most successful iron industries.